Hello and welcome to Salaam Namaste. Broadcasting live from the Now Media TV studios in Houston, this is Saji Salam. This evening we have a very special guest on the show. We have with us Dr. Chandrakant, the founder of NRI MoneyClinic, who helps non-resident Indians manage their funds and investments in India. I want to start out with a disclaimer as well that this is not meant to be financial advice or business or solicitation of business of any kind. This conversation is meant to share experiences that the guest has encountered during the course of his firm's services for NRIs. You need to make sure that all financial and investment decisions are made only in consultation with financial, legal, and tax professionals licensed in the countries where you invest. So without further ado, let's bring on Dr. Bhat onto the show. Dr. Chandrakant, welcome to Salam Namaste.
Namaste from India to all the viewers in US, Houston, and from wherever they are connected with.
All right. So let's get started, Dr. Bhat, with the the top question that I have, which is, and many NRIs have, is what are the key financial topics that NRIs need more education on from your perspective?
There are many issues. See, when somebody leaves India and becomes an NRI, his focus is either on education or getting a job, trying to find a suitable job, how he'll mingle into another society. That's where the focus is on. But in this bargain, many a times people forget the basics of things that they need to be doing. Three things which come to my mind primarily are, one is your bank accounts. The bank accounts for NRIs is not same as the bank account for a resident Indian. There are different types of bank accounts. These are specifically known as non-resident accounts. There are two types in the non-resident account. One is non-resident external account, which deals with funds which are coming from outside, and the monies that you hold there can be repatriated freely without any particular problem. This is one type of rupee account. The other type of rupee account someone must have is the NRO account, non-resident ordinary account. These are nothing but the savings account in India, specifically designed for NRIs. Those of the viewers who have left India, if they are still having the savings bank account, or the prospective NRIs, when they become NRIs, all that they have to do is close these savings bank account or instruct your bank to convert them into a non-resident ordinary account. The purpose of this non-resident ordinary account is to make sure that the account is useful for you to deal with your transactions within India, domestic transfers, domestic receipts. You lent money to some of your friends, relatives. You want to transfer some money for purchase of goods and services. You can make best use of NRO account. These are the two types of banking accounts, which is very, very popular. In addition to that, there are specific foreign currency accounts. We call it as FCNR, foreign currency non-resident accounts, which is to be used to park your foreign currency in Indian bank. You can use FCNR account. So the bank account is the first thing people must get familiarized with. There are so many things, what kind of an accounts you can hold, what kind of an account, the transfers of funds into or out of these accounts is all very, very clearly defined as per the FEMA law. And it is very essential that people should spend time understanding these particular accounts.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing
thank you
that people have
for
to be
bringing
familiar
those issues to the fore.
FEMA law.
And let's talk about FEMA a little bit. My understanding is FEMA is Foreign Exchange Management Act, and there are regulations regarding FEMA which probably are not that familiar for many of our viewers. and there have been recent updates as well. I guess I think I saw something from like 2018 actually. So could we talk a little bit about FEMA and what are the key concerns or issues that you run into here?
FEMA law gives you certain rights, and FEMA law also restricts you from doing certain things. For example, the NRI and NRO accounts, whatever I mentioned, are opened in accordance with the FEMA law. What does FEMA law say? FEMA law applies for a non-resident Indian. Again, when we talk about NRIs, everybody think non-resident individuals is somebody who lives outside of India. There are two laws in India which describe the non-resident Indian. In fact, people think that the NRI is described in Income Tax Act, which is not true. Income Tax of India defines who is a non-resident individual. It does not define a non-resident individual. Rather, it defines who is a resident Indian. Anybody who is not a resident Indian becomes an NRI. However, the NRI, as per the FEMA law, is slightly different. Anybody who has an intention to stay outside of India for a prolonged period of time or an indefinite period of time can be categorized as an NRI. So the FEMA law says you can have NRI and NRO account if you categorize yourself as an NRI as per the FEMA law. Now let's say that somebody who goes out of India and his intention is to stay for 3 months with his children in US, and he has an intention to come back, then he cannot be categorized as an NRI. Here, he is going out there for about 3 months and he is going to come back. But if a student is going out, that's an indefinite period, whether his studies are for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, how much time it is not known. Likewise, when somebody goes out for employment, again, the question that comes is indefinite period of time. So the FEMA law gives rights for someone to open these NRI and NRO. What are the restrictions that come with FEMA law? The most important restriction one has to keep in mind is when you are an NRI, you cannot have resident Indian bank accounts. Your SB accounts cannot be held if you have been classified as a non-resident individual as per FEMA law. So your accounts have to be recalibrated to NRO account and to NRE account as the case may be. Likewise, when you lose the NRI status, as per FEMA law, again you have to give up these accounts. You are not allowed to hold these accounts. You have to revert back to your resident bank account. So there are a lot of restrictions around this. Say, for example, how much of money you can repatriate, who can do it. So there are, and can you lend this money? What kind of businesses you can get into? There are a lot of aspects to it. Primarily, it is the banking which becomes very important. Most important thing that the NRIs have to keep in mind is if you are categorized as an NRI as per the FEMA law, you are not allowed to own any agricultural or horticultural land in India, directly or indirectly.
Very interesting. Actually, I was not aware of this, until I visited your channel, and that's when I learned about this. So that is an important item that I wanted to bring up. So per FEMA, the NRIs or OCIs, they can purchase other properties, right? The limitation is only on agricultural and horticultural assets. Is that a correct understanding?
That's correct. That's correct. They can own other properties, like you have your residential properties, commercial properties. The routine properties can be held. There could be some restrictions. If, for example, somebody is from the territories which are hostile to India, there they may not be allowed. But generally, for grade 1 countries, countries in the Middle East, there are no restrictions to own the properties there.
Mm-hmm. And as part of your services, you definitely have a panel of chartered accountants and legal folks who are able to advise NRIs on the nuances of this, right? Because the devil is in the details, and I'm sure you have those professionals working with you.
Absolutely. We have a team of experts who cater towards the FEMA law expertise, the NRI taxation, the inheritance laws, interdomiciliary movement, investment into different categories like PMS. So we have a host of teammates and our outsourced professionals when NRIs contact us day in and day out. So we refer them to these professionals so that the concerned professional will attend to it. Two cases will not remain similar. People have to look into the specifics of individual cases and we refer it to them. We have countless people who are in touch with NRI Money Clinic on our panel.
Thank you for sharing all that information about the key topics that NRIs have to be cognizant of. And once we'll continue to discuss further once we come back after a short commercial break.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you spend with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back, and let's continue this fascinating conversation with Dr. Bhat. Dr. Bhat, let's talk a little bit about another broad area here related to FEMA and maybe income tax too. And this is a common scenario where we have several students who are studying in various countries overseas, such as U.S., Canada, Germany, and there are some FEMA rules that the parents of these students and also the friends of these parents who are NRIs living in these countries need to be aware of. Could you touch upon those at a very high level?
Not much of a thing specifics to the students as it has been mentioned over there. One of the things that could be looked at is the repatriability of funds, how much monies can be repatriated from these people. And there is ample amount of limit which has been given there. Under liberalized remittance scheme, which is particularly a liberalized remittance scheme applicable to the resident Indians, which in this case applies to the case of parents of these students. They can remit up to 250,000 US dollar per year per person. That means two parents can collectively repatriate $500,000 per year. So there is ample limit which is available. Not many questions have to be answered to repatriate this particular money. There is documentation that needs to be done. They have to go to the authorized dealer banks, which is the usual. Almost all the banks in India will transfer this money, and they have no difficulty around.
Well, one of the questions that at least a couple of my friends have asked is related to this is when you have a student who is he's a son or a daughter of a friend in India, and a common request is, hey, would you pay for the tuition or other fees, especially more than tuition, it's more of the boarding and lodging and other expenses in, let's say, in the U.S. for the student, and in turn, the friend in India would suggest that he could deposit money into the Indian account of the NRI. So to me, there are some gray areas here. Could you touch upon that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not the right person to speak on that, but I have had interactions with the FEMA law experts on my YouTube channel, NRI MoneyClinic. There is a lot of restrictions of settlement of debts, what debts somebody owes outside of India, and it is getting settled in India. So the best suggestion that I would say is, whatever the monies have to be given to the children, let it be routed through their parents, and do not entertain third-party transactions and invite unnecessary trouble. To be on the sure, what you're doing is legally right. Are there any red flags in it? If you have a doubt, and it's a good idea that you have a session with a chartered accountant, describing the situation, what you're passing through, and find out whether it makes sense for you to do this particular arrangement. I would suggest not to do this and instead route everything to student to parent or parent to student route. That could be the best solution, or consult your chartered accountant.
Thank you for sharing your perspective on this. And I think, like you mentioned, when such requests come, the best course of action would be for NRIs to get in touch with their chartered accountant in India and get a very clear guidance on this matter, because many of the folks we speak to don't quite understand the seriousness of what they are getting into. So I appreciate shedding light on that. Now let's jump on to another question here related to income tax issues. So the laws again are complicated for NRIs related to income tax. But what are some of the common issues that NRIs have gotten into that you have encountered?
I will not agree to the fact that laws are complex for the NRIs. That's not the truth. The laws are similar for a resident Indian or for a non-resident Indian when it comes to question of compliance requirement. It's one and the same. In case of NRIs, what happens is there is either ignorance or there is negligence. One of the two things are there. And NRIs, as I have observed, have not put in enough research or enough time or invested in a relationship with a chartered accountant to understand the compliance requirements that they have to attend to. See, there are many NRIs. Most NRIs will come back to India. There are people who go and settle in countries like US, Canada, UK, Ireland, various other countries, become naturalized there. They take up their citizenship, but they'll have got assets back home in India. And they have got financial dealings in India. They have got the bank accounts in India. When they leave the country, the seriousness which they have to attend to these financial transactions will never strike them. They try to neglect it. And because of this, many times they are at the receiving end of notices from income tax department. Likewise, the NRIs many times feel that what transactions I make from my NRE or NRO account, I have lived outside of India. I cannot be questioned in India. I can do whatever I want. That kind of an attitude will not work in favor of them. One thing I would like to say here is the monies which come into your NRE account, it could be an external account, but you owe an answer to the income tax department for the monies which get channelized from your bank account. So don't be under the impression that the money that comes into your NRE account is tax-free. It could be. We have every reason to believe so. But the taxman has a right to ask you the question. So the best way to deal with such a situation is there are things which people have to take care of. Number one, have NRE, NRO account and you must close your resident saving bank account. Number two, you have a PAN card, but you have to categorize this PAN card under resident status under the income tax portal. And you have to move your jurisdiction from a resident assessment officer to an international jurisdiction assessment officer. That proves that you are NRI. Every year you have to log into your IT portal and see whether there are any transactions which are getting reflected there. Say, for example, you might be having the fixed deposit, NRO fixed deposit, or you could have purchased a car, you could have taken a car and given to your parent or your brother or somebody else. But all these things will reflect on your IT website and it has a compliance requirement of filing the tax returns. If there is a TDS, and there are threshold levels, if the TDS is beyond a particular level, then you are required to file tax return. If the income tax department notices that the large chunks of money has come into your NRE account and it does not follow a particular pattern or some threshold levels, it can just probe and it can send notices to you asking you, how did you make these NRE FDs? What is the source of this money? It could be sensing that you could be doing a money laundering. It could be an illegitimate source of money which has been sourced from outside. So you have to be careful. You have to keep track record of it. You need to discharge your responsibility of checking on the IT website what transactions have been reflected. And time and again, and in multiple videos on our channel, we have told every NRI, even if you do not have income to declare in India, it makes absolute sense for you to file a nil tax return. You are proving that you are an NRI. You will make sure that your PAN moves into an international jurisdiction. You will make sure that you will utilize the services of a chartered accountant. Tax landscape is not static. It's very dynamic. Things keep changing from time to time. Rules keep changing from time to time. If you are abroad, you will not be knowing about them, or you may not have the required seriousness to attend to that. So one thing I would stress here is that every NRI, it makes absolute sense for you to file your tax return, create your account, register your PAN on the income tax portal, be on the right side of the law, and that will save you a lot of trouble. It doesn't cost you a great deal of money to file tax returns in India, whether you do it yourself or whether you take the help of chartered accountant, but it can save lots and lots of trouble for you in your side. One of the things that will happen is there are many NRIs who will build large amount of assets. They never categorize their PAN in the income tax portal to reflect their NRI status. At some point of time, they'll come back. They have huge assets, and the income tax department sees for the last 10, 15, 20 years, these guys have never filed a tax return, nor their PAN reflected their NRI status, and they realize that these people have got so much of an asset, and they will be up for a scrutiny of assets that they are holding. It will not match with the tax returns what they have filed. So to avoid all these kinds of a problem, it makes absolute sense to take the small trouble of filing your tax return, keeping the bank accounts transactions in your mail folder, whatever the transactions you have done. If you have worked outside, it makes sense for you to take your income certificate from your employer, all the things which can prove that you have a legitimate source of money which you have utilized. There are many people who work outside. Ask their employers to remit money directly to your NRE account, which gives rise to taxation in India. You have to remit money to your NRE account. You should not ask your employer to remit money into your NRE account. Instead, you have one external outside in the country where you are working, receive your salaries, bonuses, emoluments, proceeds of whatever the investments you have made into your bank account, and you transfer money to your NRE account in India. Keep track of that. That solves many of the problems. Ignorance is not bliss when it comes to question of taxation. Ignorance is not a reason for you to not file tax return. When it comes to question of taxation, avoidance is far better, less complicated, and saves you so much of trouble in future and gives enormous peace of mind.
Thank you for sharing that information, Dr. Bhat. Let's come back and talk more after a short commercial break.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution. Take a decisive step and call us today for a free consultation.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855
993 2096.
Welcome back. Let's talk more about some of the aspects that Dr. Bhat talked about. Here, I've run into several NRIs who were of the opinion that, hey, I'm not living in India anymore, so we don't need to file taxes in India. So I think this clears the air on that perspective that several NRIs have. But you also talked about another very nuanced aspect of this, specifically around transfer of funds from employers directly to NRI accounts in India. So when that happens, is that considered, how is that treated from an income tax perspective, if you don't mind shedding some more nuance on that, please?
Well, let me answer this question, but don't take my words for it because I'm not the concerned person who can give you an authoritative or the explanation on it. I had done a video on my channel by name, Are the funds received in NRE accounts are completely tax-free? I was interacting with the chartered accountant, Mr. Sriram Rao, on the channel, and what he says is, your income received outside of India, when you are living outside of India, is tax-free. But this income is received in India and you live outside, then it can become taxable in India. So it can give rise to interpretation. Many of the cases may pass without scrutiny. But let's understand one thing. The earnings of NRIs is not like that of the resident Indian. That's quite huge. That's quite huge. And it can, and the government is definitely interested to see and plug loopholes around the law and see that all the taxable income is taxed and nobody is let go. So to be very sure, make sure that you do not ask your employer directly transfer money to your NRE account. Rather, have that bank account outside of India, receive that money is there, and you transfer it through the banking channels or through the legal money exchanges into your NRE account. That's the best course of action.
Well, I think that is really good for many of us to know. I mean, myself included, I was not aware of this nuance here. And I think, like you said, it would make sense for NRIs to consult their chartered accountant before they make a transaction along these lines. So I appreciate your clarification on that, Dr. Bhat. Now let's talk about another area where NRIs get involved, and that is investments in India. So what do you see are the how do you see the business environment in India changing? Has things changed from the investment standpoint in the last 5 to 10 years? Could you speak to that piece?
I would say there is a complete transformation that's happening right now in India. You could be seeing some negative reports in the paper and kind of thing. Let's not discuss on that, but the ground reality is that India is getting transformed. It is crystal clear. If you look at the ease of doing business, India has moved up the ranks. If you look at the opportunities for you to invest, Indian real estate is a good opportunity today. Fractional commercial real estate, unlike in US, which is having its troubled times at the moment, India, it's a sunrise industry, and there are no restrictions for anyone to invest in fractional commercial real estate today in India, including those for the US person. Mutual funds are very attractive. Unfortunately, people from who live in US cannot invest in Indian mutual fund for restrictions due to US tax laws. However, you could invest in the portfolio management services. You can invest in the Indian fixed income instruments. You can invest in Indian properties. So all the options are there. In my personal opinion, and what I see on the ground, and what I get from interactions that I have with people who matter in this industry, India is at a place where US was about 30 to 40 years before. It's just taking off. If you look at the infrastructure which has developed, be it the airports, be it the railway lines, be it the ports, be it the highways, mind blowing the developments that have happened. One thing which is completely transforming India is the digitization. So we have got a digital infrastructure at a population scale. 140 billion population is not a small population. If you travel in India today, you don't need to have cash in your pocket. Everyone has a mobile phone, starting from the panipuri guys, the chai walas, the vegetable vendors, the bus tickets, wherever it is, use your phone, and through an UPI app or through a QR code, people can make payments. What was a black economy, or what was a how do you say, unorganized economy, is merging into an organized economy. That itself is giving us a lot of opportunity. Likewise, the India has moved above the $2,000 per capita income. From here onwards, what happens is the saving potential of Indians have risen. Now, if you look at the amount of money which is coming into the Indian stock market just by the domestic savers, the SIP route, the systematic investment plans route, is 16 to 18,000 crore rupees every month. This is not the external money. This is the internal money. That is why you see Indian markets are not falling even when the foreign institutional investors are pulling out. Earlier, the Indian market was dependent on the FIS flows. If the FIS flows come in, Indian markets will dance on the top floor. The day they decide to move out, they will fall like nine pins. That's a thing of the past. So that's not happening. So there is a lot of saving which is happening. Within India, we can see multiple Indias inside. For example, there is a poor India, there is a north-south economic divide which is visible. For example, I'm from South India. The population replacement rate in South India has fallen down to 1.67. You got to believe this. So the population rate in India has more or less, stagnated. In South India, you have such a shortage of labor today. The North Indians, the poor population of North India, Eastern India, are migrating for the sake of better jobs to the Southern India. In Southern India, if you look at it, the income levels are far higher, and the number of children in the families have come down, resulting in a very high saving rate, and that is resulting in capital formation, investment, and all these things. There are many of the problems which bogged India in the yesteryears are slowly being addressed. For example, India was deficient in energy. The biggest problem, the Achilles tendon of Indian economy has been it does not have the required energy sources. The present government is working day and night to take out this equation and make it favorable to India. Today, a lot of work is happening on renewable energy, green hydrogen, and if this attempt becomes successful, the perennial problem of India of energy deficient can be conquered at some point of time. Likewise, India used to lose a lot of forex because of the defense imports. So another priority area for India has been uh, uh, import substitution in defense sector, as well as the export of defense equipment to the rest of the world, which is also solving the forex problem. If you look at the forex kitty of India, in spite of interest rates rising in US, the Indian forex reserves did not fall to a great extent. They peaked at about 600 billion prior to this rate hike tantrums. It dropped down to about 540 billion, and right now it is somewhere around in between 600 to 650 billion dollars. So it has a very robust forex kitty. Look at the demographic dividend. Look at the several averages of the developed world versus the India. There is so much of a growth which is possible. I will not hesitate to say that today there is no risk of investing in India. The real risk is not remaining without investing in India. That's the biggest risk investors will take today. India must be something which must be there in your portfolio. This is my personal opinion, and this equation will not change for a long period of time. It is not something that will remain for next 1 year, 2 year. This is a decadal theme. Probably it runs for several decades before it plateaus. Probably it's very safe to say India will have a perennial growth for easily for next 2 to 3 decades.
This is very interesting conversation here, Dr. Bhat. Which are the major states in India where you see a lot of growth? I think Maharashtra for one, but which are the other states where you see a lot of economic growth these days?
Traditionally, the southern India and the western India is the affluent part of India. That's where the industries, the banking, educational institution, the socio-economic parameters of people have been good. And over the last 50, 75 years, the eastern part of India and the northern states of India, UP, Bihar, Orissa, Assam, and the eastern states have lagged behind. But this government has worked very hard to make sure that the backward states are catching up. And I'm given to understand that these backward states are the ones which are having the highest growth, they are passing through the highest growth phase. Of course, it takes many years before they come and catch up with the western and the southern states, but the highest growth is there in these particular states. That is very, very evident right now.
Thanks for that perspective here. Very interesting conversation so far. Let's come back and talk more after a short commercial break.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Welcome back as we continue the conversation with Dr. Bhat of the NRI MoneyClinic. Dr. Bhat, let's talk about the services that your firm provides to NRIs.
We at NRI MoneyClinic, we are the mutual fund distributors. We have a license to work on insurance segments, the pension segments. and various other things within India. I also operate from Dubai as well, where I have my license to operate over there. There are so many other professionals who are involved along with NRI Money Clinic, where things which does not come under our area of expertise will be outsourced to these people. But it's fair to say that we have more or less 360-degree approach when it comes to question of investments within India. We do mutual funds, we do pension planning, we do fractional commercial real estate. We do assess the individual lives for suitabilities of various things. We guide people who are prospective NRIs. We guide people who are returning NRIs. We do help them with the processes that they have to follow, the care that they have to take, the precautions that they need to take, and we bring the professionals as well as the service seekers together through NRI Money Clinic. We are also in the forefront of education for the NRI community. We started just around the pandemic time. We started in January 2020. We have produced till more than 400 odd videos. These are referral videos where several experts have come, several CEOs have come, several industry experts have come, inheritance specialists, inter-domiciliary movement specialists, will specialists, chartered accountants, lawyers have appeared on our channel and have guided. People can actually watch NRI Money Clinic, subscribe for the NRI Money Clinic. We have created a lot of playlists there. If people can refer to these playlists, that itself is an encyclopedia of knowledge. And this has all come from highly respected, highly experienced people who matter in the industry. And if somebody wants to really make use of our services, we have provided our number. WhatsApp is the best mode of communication with us. Our numbers are given there in every video that we have produced. They just have to reach out to WhatsApp, send in their inquiries, and then we'll see what best we can do for them.
So, which are the countries from where you see NRIs reaching out to you? Could you talk to that a little bit?
Well, today NRI Money Clinic is completely global. I'm very proud to say that we deal with more than 60 different countries. That's when we last counted the number of countries. The NRIs have communicated practically with every country in Europe, Mexico, US, Canada, Japan, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, China, several of the African countries. More than 60 countries, thousands of families have utilized our services. Countless persons in the US have utilized our services. Day in and day out, we help prospective NRIs who want to become NRIs. There are constant requests which keep coming to us to guide them when people have to come back to India to prepare themselves, how they can prepare, what preparations that they have to make. These are the persons from different countries across the globe who are utilizing our services. We are global, completely global, not specific to any single country, I would say.
Let's touch on another aspect here as we are coming closer to the end of the show here. What are the few things that an NRI needs to do when visiting India next time?
Well, it's a good thing to prepare yourself very well. In fact, we have done one specific episode called 10 must-attend issues when you visit India next time. In your enthusiasm to go to another country, hope of a better living, better salaries, better career, you would have forgotten a lot of things. It's time to revisit all that thing. One, check your bank accounts. If you still have the Indian savings bank account, it's a violation of FEMA. You have to close these bank accounts and convert them to your NRE and NRO account. You must visit a chartered accountant. You must have a relationship with a chartered accountant. He could be from your place, or he could be somebody who can deliver you a service via online. It's very essential that you deal with chartered accountants who are very, very familiar with NRI affairs. Chartered accountancy itself is a big ocean in itself. NRIs are very special. The rules and regulations are special. Things are involved in that. When you're getting into a relationship with a chartered accountant, make sure that he is very familiar with the NRI affairs. Check all your records. See, for example, your passport, your PAN card, if you have an Aadhaar card, your birth certificate. Make sure all the documents that you have reflect your name, date of birth, and your parents' name in the same order with the same spelling, and it should not differ. For any reason, if there is a difference or a mismatch of name, it can give rise to a lot of problems whenever trying to deal with any financial transactions in future. So there are things which you can do online. There are things which you cannot do online. Say, for example, if you have to do something with your Aadhaar card, if you have one, you have to visit the Aadhaar center in India. It can't be done online from outside of India. So attend to that. If you have, there are people who have got Aadhaar card, but their names have been wrongly spelled. You can correct your name in Aadhaar card once in your lifetime. You can't change it later on. If you have to change your address there, if you have to change your email ID there, if you have to change your telephone number there, you can do all these things. Make sure that you have one Indian telephone number, not the landline, one mobile number, postpaid, which has a facility to receive SMS when you are abroad. See, these days everything is becoming centralized around having a mobile phone. So attempts are there to deliver you the SMS on the foreign mobile as well. But I would strongly, strongly recommend people to have an Indian postpaid mobile connection permanently with and record this mobile wherever that needs to be recorded. You also look at your properties. A lot of NRIs have got lots of properties, and they don't pay the properly the maintenance dues. They don't take care of the maintenance aspect of it. They get the service done from people, and they are not paid. Please attend to all these issues. Your taxes for the properties are well paid for. You leave no dues for your association. If the housing associations have demanded money for generators or any development, as a responsible owner of that property, you need to make sure that all these dues are uh, taken care of. And most important, uh, see how your country is changing. You can move to another country, but India is your mother country. Sometimes it pains me even when I see some of the comments which come on the channel and people go out of country and make fun of country. See, it's our mother country. If you have really grown up in our society, it's because of this country. Every society, every country has its plus and minus. So does India. Now, when you come back, travel the length and breadth of India and see it's not the same India what you have left behind. India has changed. If you don't come now, come after 5 years or 10 years, you will be shocked to see this is the way India has changed. Feel great, feel proud that your mother country is changing, and it's just a matter of time. It regains its past glory, and it's just round the corner, and it will happen during your own lifetime. It's not that we have to say that it will happen after 100 years, 200 years. And one sincere request, a very, very sincere request. Look at your parents, what's happening in their life. These parents have sacrificed their life, have sent you abroad, have taken education loan, have not done their retirement planning. They don't have enough money many a times to lead a good retired life. They will not tell you. The pride in them will not allow you to speak to you about all these problems. Come back, see where they are living. Are they in safe places? Is the place where they are living shows that their economic status is okay to deal with? Sit with your parents and ask them, do they need any specific help? You can give two things to your parents when you come back. Number one, you can give them a health insurance policy. Your parents will tell, I got a 1 lakh health insurance policy, 2 lakh health insurance policy. It's no health insurance policy. Even the ordinary things you get into a hospital, your bills will run into lakhs now. So it's a good idea that you gift your parents a large enough health insurance. It does not cost you a great deal of money from your dollar terms. It's manageable. Gift it. When you gift it, your parents can have quality medical care in your absence. for any reasons, and if they can't get it, and you are having a good life outside of India, you become a point of ridicule in front of the society. You will not be able to pay all the debts to your parents. They would have cleared off. But you can give one pension plan for your parents. It's a great gesture you can do for you. It feels so good when you give something back to your parents. Think about it. All your success is because of this country. All your success is because of your parents. All this success is because of your teacher and the environment from which you came from. Have a big heart, a big mind, and give back whatever you can. That's my sincere request for all the NRIs. I'm not telling this as a resident Indian. I myself is an NRI. And whatever I'm preaching or whatever I'm saying here today is something which I have done it myself.
I think that this was a very good conversation, Dr. Bhat. I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot. And one last question is, how can our viewers reach you to get more information? Where can they find you?
It's pretty simple. You just go to the YouTube and search NRI MoneyClinic, and our YouTube videos will pop up. And in every of your YouTube videos, in the description box, we have given our contact number and link for our WhatsApp. Click on the link and it takes you to the WhatsApp, and you can reach out to us. You can also reach to us through our website, www.nrimoneyclinic.com, what services we have. Our contact number, addresses, and everything is being mentioned there. It is going through an upgrade, but still everything which is there on the website is still correct. You can reach out to us through website as well. WhatsApp is the best mode, quick mode, and you can reach to us very directly. And we are ever ready to help you, whichever the country you are living in.
Thanks again, Dr. Bhat, for joining us this evening. And for our viewers, we will be here same time next week.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Have you ever had to hire multiple contractors? It is a daunting task that takes a lot of management time and impacts the core business or the company that time you're spent with your loved ones. At Texas Home Property Solutions, you can count on a responsible company that can tackle all your general contractor needs. Electricity, painting, remodeling, plumbing, air conditioning, and roofing. Hire us and forget it. With over 20 years of experience, Texas Home Property Solution will deliver your project on time and within budget, with the high level of quality and integrity, no matter the size or complexity. If you are a company, a government institution, or an individual who needs a general contractor, you need Texas Home Property Solution.